We live in a strange world where we think we can build and buy our way out of a crisis that was built on building and buying stuff. Greta Thunberg. But when we reduce, reuse, and repurpose, we not only save time and money, we do reduce our carbon footprint. But what is stuff? According to the Australian Oxford Dictionary, they define it as being a collection of things not needed to be specified. It's valueless matter, nonsense, and trash. Hi, I'm Tanya Lewis from Eco Organiser, and I'm in the business of dealing with people's stuff. I don't know of anyone that likes to throw away their hard-earned dollars. Yet, as a professional eco-organiser, I see it all the time. I call it the clutter spiral. You may have heard of it, and you may have even said it yourself. I forgot I had it, so I bought another. I couldn't find it, so I bought another. All this stuff comes from somewhere. On the other side of the world, we cut down trees to make paper. We dig up iron ore and we ship it overseas to have it manufactured into things, and it's brought back here. And we fill our homes with stuff. And it all comes with a carbon footprint. In 2017, CoreLogic found that the estimated total financial value of stuff, or we can call it waste, in our homes was valued at $6,623. They also found that we spend on average $920 a year on Christmas gifts. Yet $620 worth of that are considered unwanted gifts. In other words, we are buying stuff to give to people that they don't want. It's getting shoved into the back of their cupboards, never to be seen of again. We're stuffing their homes and our own homes full of waste. And building bigger and bigger homes to accommodate stuff does not make environmental or financial sense. Yet reducing, reusing, and repurposing makes the world of difference. Kerry and David suffered from the clutter spiral, and they struggled to fit their blended family into a small home. Their goal was to create more space for the whole family to enjoy and to save money for a family holiday. By following the 10 R's, our organising system, within the first week, Kerry and David saved $50 on their grocery bill, effectively saving them $2,600 a year. Not to mention reducing the food waste, the packaging, and the time spent in supermarket queues. By reorganising their living area, they were able to open their doors and their windows to allow better airflow through the space, and also increase the light. With their home now naturally ventilated in summer, they weren't reliant on air conditioning. And again, that was saving them more money. And by focusing on their goals and eco-organising their home, they found items that they never used, and they sold it online, and they made an extra $800, all going towards the family holiday. And even the kids got involved. In fact, the family sat down around the table before they started, and they wrote a vision of how they wanted to live. They looked at what they had, what they didn't have. They They went into this together with a commitment to reduce waste and save money for that family holiday. There was one particular night after a long week, Mum and Dad thought they'd order a family pizza for dinner. And the kids said, no, we can't, because oily pizza boxes can't be recycled. So it was great that the whole family made a commitment to save money and reduce waste. I was thrilled and honoured to receive a family photograph of the family several years later, holidaying on the Gold Coast. They've turned their life around. They live a totally different life, and I am still in contact with them to this day. And because Kerry and David knew why they were doing it, they were able to achieve their goals with limited hiccups along the way. So I urge you to really spend time and focus on why you want to do this. Why did you even decide to watch this video? So think about that. Why do you want to reduce waste? Is it to reduce waste, or is it to save money? Is it to save time? Or are you looking at moving towards a more sustainable lifestyle? So I urge you to spend time on that. Now, there are many types of waste, but what we're going to look at today are the common things that we have around our home. One of the major contributors to greenhouse gas emissions is food waste. Now, you may have a food recycling system in your local council, and that's fantastic. But if we can reduce the food waste in our homes, then that doesn't have to go off to be recycled. And every time we recycle, it comes with embodied energy. So it takes energy to recycle. So let's look at how we can reduce the food waste. And the other thing that we're going to look at is clothing and textiles. And we're also going to look at packaging and just some really simple tips on how we can reduce packaging in our lives. 1 in 5 shopping bags of food end up in the bin every year. Now that equates to $3,800 worth of food. What would you do if you found an extra $3,800 sitting on the kitchen bench right now? So there's a why. You want to reduce food waste to save money. But it's really through just small lifestyle changes. Every little thing that we do, it does make the world a difference. We don't have to be a big corporation. You put all the households together in Australia and we're pretty big. So it's little things that do make a big difference. And one of the things you can do is to write a meal plan. And a meal plan is where you plan your meals for a week. You do want to include your breakfast, lunch and dinner if you eat those sorts of things. And also your snacks. So put everything down on a piece of paper of what you eat and then plan it out. And now there might be some nights when you're coming home from work and you're just exhausted and you know that you're going to be exhausted on that night. Choose a meal to cook that's really simple and easy. So plan your meals. Then write a shopping list according to your plan, your meal plan, but also according to what you have in your pantry and your fridge. The key is we want to eat our food. We don't want to waste it. So think about the meal plan and the shopping list. When you go to the supermarket, you take your shopping bags. Now you take your shopping list. And the thing that takes willpower is to actually stick to what you have on your shopping list. Try and turn a blind eye to all those specials and the buy one, get one free and all those sorts of things. If you don't need it, why buy it? Another way to reduce food waste and also help save money is to rethink the portion sizes. So we've been sort of in food, they've used big plates. So we tend to put more food onto the plate. Hence we eat more or we waste more. So you may want to have a look around your home and see if you have any smaller plates, and maybe you could swap those over and save the big plates, maybe repurpose them as platters or something like that, but put them at the back of the cupboard, but bring out a smaller plate. And that way we're not wasting food. But it's also, we don't have to push ourselves to eat everything on our plate as well. So there's a couple of things that you can do. Now, we are going to get some food waste. We are. But one of the things you might like to consider is downloading an app called Share Waste. And I love this, and I think it's great because not only does it share waste, but it connects communities. So we've got really great, community engagement. We're getting to know our neighbours, and that's got to be a good thing. So the idea behind Share Waste is that you discover people in your neighbourhood, your community, that needs food waste. They may have a compost bin, but they don't generate enough food waste, and they need more to have a really productive compost bin. You may find somebody else that has some chooks and they're in need of some food waste. So you connect with them. You start to know them. You start to find the dislikes of what the chooks like and what they won't eat. You've soon discovered you've got some new friends. So that's just a couple of ways. Now, the other thing you can do is grow your own food. Now, you may say to me, listen, I am not Costa. I can't do that. I haven't got a green thumb. I've got a killer thumb. Well, be aware that some food we grow in water, and all we have to do is add water. By buying seeds from, say, a bulk fill store or a health food store, we can grow our own sprouts, so alfalfa sprouts or mung beans or that type of thing. Now, when we buy those things, they come in a plastic clam shell. So by growing your own, all you need is like a glass jar and some water, and put it in a reasonably warm place, not too much direct sunlight, and watch it and change the water each day. We're growing food and we are eliminating these clam shells. And likewise, if you buy the big bags of sprouts, you're eliminating that. So this is perfect for somebody that doesn't have a backyard or doesn't have a balcony or just doesn't have access to soil. You could look at growing in herbs in pots and things like that. And again, when we buy herbs and pots from the supermarket, they come in packaging. This is our way of actually growing our own food and eliminating certain types of waste from our home. You could look at joining your a local sustainability group and get to know other people, like-minded people that you can maybe work together to becoming a more sustainable lifestyle. And that can lead on to so many other wonderful possibilities. So there's a couple of things. There's meal planning, there's a shopping list, there's rethink your portions, the Share Waste app, and also looking at maybe growing your own food. Clothing. We only wear 20% of our clothes, and that's a fact. So what is the other 80% doing? It's taking up valuable real estate in our wardrobes. That's what it's doing. And in Australia, we buy on average 27 kilos of clothing a year, and we discard to landfill 23 kilos. And the other interesting thing to know is that it takes between 7,000 to 8,000 litres of water to produce a single pair of jeans. So if we're tempted by the buy one, get one free, maybe rethink, do I need that extra pair of jeans? In Australia, we are the driest continent in the world, and we do grow a lot of cotton here. So maybe we just rethink, do I need those pair of jeans? When we're organised, we're less likely to go and buy more of the same and get stuck in that clutter spiral. When it comes to your clothes, I say shop your wardrobe before you hit the shops. A few years ago, I was working with a client organising her wardrobe. And we started to organize like with like, so we could see exactly what she had. And along this process, she discovered outfits that she forgot she had. And she said, I was going to go and buy more of these next week. And we did a mental calculation and we worked out we saved her $2,500 because that's what she was going to go out and spend the following week to replace the clothes that she thought she didn't have. So being organized saves time, money, energy, and the carbon footprint of textiles. Investing in quality over quantity is always a great idea. If we can really, wear our clothes for longer. And in a world of designed obsolescence, where we are conditioned to throw stuff out when they're worn out, I encourage people to connect with their local repair cafe. And what I love about Repair Cafe is you take things there to be repaired. That's the idea, is to repair things. You either learn how to do it or somebody will do it for you. But the real benefit to me in this is, again, it's that community engagement. It's people coming together and helping each other. There could be people that are unemployed that are using their skills to help other people, and that helps lift their self-esteem. It could be also people that are retired with these skills and they're stuck at home and they don't see anybody. And this is their opportunity to connect and share. And this helps with so many community health and well-being issues. I just think it's a really lovely thing to see. And there's over 2,500 repair cafes around the world. So I guarantee you there's going to be one near you. The other thing you may want to have a look at is there's a new movement called visible mending. And again, I love it. It's about getting out there and mending things, but doing it in a really artistic way. And there's some beautiful examples when you search the hashtag online, visible mending. So your why might be, when it comes to clothing, is that you want to reduce, you want to save the world's precious resource, which is water. So by refusing the buy one, get one free and maybe getting things repaired, you're saving water. But where do we start? How do we start to push back and refuse this stuff? I encourage everybody that before you start to, buy something, click on a mouse and put it in your shopping cart, you use number 1 from the 10 R's, our organizing system, and that is rethink. When we stop and pause for 3 seconds and allow our emotions to catch up with our rational thoughts, that's when we can start to make clear, conscious decisions. We can be a more conscious consumer. And one of the first things you could ask yourself is, do I need it? Seriously, do I need this in my life? Does it warrant space in my life? And do I have similar already? Because we may already have it at home, or something similar, or something we can repurpose. And also too, you want to look at this stuff and say, is there an equivalent with less packaging? So much of our packaging we buy, we take it home and we throw it out. So is there an equivalent with less packaging? Let's push back. We don't need that multi-layered packaging. For certain things we don't, that's for sure. The other thing that's really important to look at is the recycled content of what we buy. We are good at recycling, but we need to actually start using the raw materials of the recycled byproduct. So for instance, I just recently purchased some new leggings for skiing, which were made entirely out of PET bottles, so your water bottles. And I bought a laptop cover, and that was made out of recycled bottles. So when we start to look and ask questions, we can make the world of difference. So what's the recycled content of what you're buying? And so that we can start to actually collect our waste, we need to be looking at what happens to our stuff at end of life. So when things die, which they do, our mobile phones and our computers and stuff like that, what happens to it afterwards? Well, there's so many different recycling systems out there. So mobile phones, there's numerous recycling companies. Mobile Muster is one of the first that comes to my mind. With your e-waste and all those sorts of things, there's Tech Collect, there's Drop Zone, there's all different sorts of things. I would say, first of all, your first point of call is go to your local council and ask them where do I take this stuff at end of life? And they'll be able to tell you, direct you in the right place to go. Through this conscious consumption and shopping with intention, we do reduce waste. And you may want to ask yourself a few more questions, because once you start to get on this role of reducing and reusing and repurposing, you're always asking yourself questions and looking at things and questioning it. And you might look at it and say, I need new ink cartridges. Well, are these ones refillable? Can I refill those? Or where can I recycle them afterwards? You also want to be looking at where our food is coming from. So looking at the labels and saying, oh, it's grown in Mexico or something like that. We need to start adding on the carbon miles that it's taken to get it here. Yet when we buy local, we know we're supporting local growers and farmers. We know it hasn't had to travel great distances to get to us. And we also know we're eating fresh produce, which is good for us, good for our health and well-being. Another thing you might like to ask yourself is, when you are buying something, look at it and say, what's worth more, the object or the opportunity to simplify life with less stuff? I mean, our stuff, we have to clean it, move it, store it, service it. And stuff, we know the definition of it. It's not relevant, it's mindless trash. So we need to be thinking about, do we really need this stuff? Because when we say no and we start to refuse stuff, we do start to stop that clutter spiral. And think about that $6,623 worth of stuff we have cluttering our homes. Why bring more stuff into our home that doesn't add value to our lives? I don't know of anybody lying on their deathbed saying, I wish I got to the half-yearly sales. They're more likely to be saying, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time with my family, my friends. I wish I did that trip. Oh, I always wish. Why buy stuff that doesn't add value to your life? When we stop buying that stuff, we reduce waste. Reusable. We are awash with reusable products. We have coffee cups, we have shopping bags, we have water bottles, we have menstrual cups. We have so many, and that's just to name a few. But at Eco Organiser, we like to shine a light on the different things. Tool libraries. Why buy and store a whole bunch of tools that you only use once or twice a year? By joining your local tool library, you can go and borrow them. You don't have to have that hassle of owning them. And it's not just tools. You might be sort of deciding, oh, I'm going to have a game of tennis this afternoon. I'll go to the tool library and I'll borrow a set of tennis rackets. So it's very broad what they have. It's not just the nuts and the bolts and the drills and all those sorts of things. There's so many different things that they have that you can just go and borrow. There's also street libraries. Now, these are lovely. They're usually a cupboard or something in a street, and it's full of books, and you just go and borrow them, and you can donate to them. So think about that. Now, I'm based in Melbourne, and we have a wonderful new sort of library here, and it's called a kitchen library. It's based in Carlton. I don't know if there's any more around, so if you want to start one, and this is what we can do, we have the power to change things. We can say, okay, I want to start a street library. I want to start a kitchen library. Connect with the guys from Kitchen Library in Carlton and find out how it all works. But basically, again, why own all this stuff if we don't have the space to store it, we don't have the money to buy it, or I just don't want the hassle of owning it? You can go and borrow. So we've always been tempted, oh, we'll get that new big, mix master thing, but gee whiz, we only make a cake once in a blue moon. We'll borrow them. So one other thing I'd just like to share with you about reuse. In the world of single-use coffee cups, we are still using 2.7 million of them a day in Australia. We have the plastic keep cups, that's fantastic. And we're also starting to see come onto the market some really beautiful ceramic ones. Now, the thing with the ceramic ones, you're paying between $20 to $30 per cup. But once they're cracked and broken, ceramics have to go to landfill. So any of your cups and plates and bowls in your kitchen, any platters, those sorts of things, when they're chipped and broken, they have to go to landfill. Unless, of course, you have a friendly mosaic artist nearby and you can donate them to for their work. But otherwise, they have to go to landfill. They can't go in your recycle bin. And yeah, so what we've developed at Eco Organiser, and we are working with a couple of cafes at the moment that want to move away from the single-use coffee cups, and also, they'll still have the ceramic, but they want another option for people. We've developed, and it's very complicated, it's called the Hiccup. And you can make it at home. This is a DIY thing, the Hiccup. A recycled glass jar and repurposed elastic bands. That's it. Make it yourself. You go in, you order your coffee. If you turn up and you don't have your cups, the cafes will have a library there for you to take it, so you can take it and bring it back. And the way that they are securing their glass jars are people within the community around the cafe are donating their glass jars, their clean glass jars, to the cafe. So that's a way of utilising our waste. We're saving energy, and it's a fully recyclable product. So if it breaks, it can go in the recycle bin, the whole thing. So, repurpose. When our stuff is no longer used for its intended purpose, it's our responsibility to responsibly dispose of stuff. Passing our stuff on to charity that is no good is not responsible. In Australia, the charities spend $15 million a year disposing of rubbish. So we need to take responsibility for that. But what I encourage everybody to do is to put on their creative hat and start repurposing. Just an example, the dog needs a bigger water bowl. As we're moving into, another hot, hopefully not too hot summer and hopefully not too many bushfires, animals need more water. So rather than go and buy a new dog bowl, go to the back of the cupboard, because that's the stuff at the back of the cupboard is the stuff that you generally you don't use it because it's at the back, because it's not easy to get to. But sometimes it's the stuff we don't like and we just push it to the back. It could be that salad bowl that you were given for your 21st or something like that, and you just don't like it. Bring it out, the dog won't mind. Now also you might want to just add another bowl or something in the garden or in a park near you for birds and things during the hot weather, so that they've got some water. So we can be repurposing the stuff that we have in our homes. But I've got a few others I want to share with you. This is a chocolate box, or well, it used to have chocolates in, they didn't last long, but this is made of timber. So this is actually perfect storage. Every compartment could house something. It could be toys, it could be jewelry, it could be for beading, it could be for anything, but each little thing is storage. So that's repurposing. Muffin trays. These are fantastic for storage. You've got each an individual little thing here. You could have paper clips, you could have elastic bands, so when you're making your next hiccup, you can grab it there. Fantastic for inside the office drawer. So what else have we got here? A little bit of recycling. And I have about 10 recycling systems in my home, but I'm not going to share them all with you today. But we're talking about more packaging now. So one of the things that we do is we've got a repurposed glass jar. Now inside of this, we place soft plastics, pasta bags, muesli bags, express post envelopes. This is then recycled at either my Coles or my Woolies. So I take the contents out and I take there. It's recycled by a company called Red Cycle. So have a look at their website. Or if any of these links that are any of these ideas that I'm going to give you, you can also find them on my website, ecoorganizer.com.au. There's one page called Useful Links. There's over 100 ways that you can responsibly dispose of stuff. So plastic, soft plastics, because not everything that we can buy is via bulk fill. We do have to buy some packaged foods. So what else have we got that we recycle here? Metal. Now you're probably thinking, metal? How do I recycle metal at home? Think about it. What about the little bit of metal that was over our masks that we all have to wear? What about the metal that comes on the alfoil or the Glad wrap? So I've torn that off. So the cardboard goes to be recycled and then this will be recycled. What about pegs that break? What about the top of your zip when it breaks? So all those little bits of metal, when they're placed into a metal container, when it's filled, I squeeze this together, right? And then this goes into the recycle bin. At the recycling centre, the machines can detect a larger piece of mass. Very difficult to detect that. So by placing like with like, that can be recycled. We've also got another little system here for bread tags. So these can be recycled through Aussie bread tags. And this is beautiful because what they do with these is they make them into wheelchairs for kids. So isn't that lovely? We can turn our waste into helping other people. So when this is filled, send this off to Aussie bread tags and they get recycled. Did you know that you can actually recycle cooking oil? Yep, you can. So this is an old vitamin container. It has a really good lid. You need a really good lid on it. And any cooking oil, when it's cooled, I pour it into here. When this gets filled, we then take it to the transfer centre with any of the other oils that we have around the property, so from the lawnmower and those sorts of things. And it gets poured into one big container and then that gets made into biofuel. Now, biofuel is used to run vehicles. So again, our waste, we can turn it into good stuff. Alfoil. Now, I might have mentioned that pizza boxes and oily things can't be recycled. So when they've got a lot of oil in it, they're no good. They have to go to landfill. Alfoil. So if you've bought like a garlic bread and it's full of dripping oil and butter and things like that, it can't go into your recycle bin. But any other sort of relatively clean alfoil, scrunch it into a ball about that size and put it into your recycle bin. And again, at the transfer centre or recycling centre, the machines can detect this size, but it can't detect small slithers. So that's another way that we can use our waste, because waste is only waste when we throw it away. Couple more things. Batteries. Batteries from remote controls, hearing aids and those sorts of things can be recycled. You can recycle it via Aldi's. but also Woolworths now and Foodworks have just started running out a new program to recycle batteries. Now, again, you want to create a collection point within your home. This is plastic. Make sure you put your batteries in plastic, not in a metal container. There are some safety issues there, okay? So grab a container out of your plastics cupboard or drawer or whatever you have. There's bound to be one where the lid has busted or it's just disappeared, and that's exactly what happened here. And reuse it and repurpose it and recycle your batteries. So what else do we have? Pens. Pens can now be recycled at Officeworks, which is fantastic. So as you're walking into Officeworks, you're going to see a bin system. You can do your pens, you can do your ink cartridges, you can do all of your e-waste. And e-waste is mobile phones, computers, games, that sort of thing. Basically anything with a cord you can recycle. It's called e-waste and you can recycle it. Now, the other thing you want to do is make sure you always check with your local council what you can and can't recycle. It's really important that we get the right thing in the right bin. If we put the wrong thing into the recycling bin, potentially we are contaminating the whole truckload of waste, and that waste has to go to landfill. So it's really important that we recycle right. So I hope that helps you work your way through some of the waste that we have in our home, and with a few solutions on how to reduce and reuse and repurpose. And look, just be mindful that every little thing that we do makes the world of difference. So please check out your local council. That's your first point of call. Then, if you want, skip over to ecoorganiser.com.au. Check out my blogs, but also that useful links page. We are constantly updating. I know for New South Wales, we've got great places for recycling mattresses and all sorts of things. So check that out. Also, Facebook is another area where I'm really active on just coming up with new ideas and leads for you to reduce your waste and hopefully simplify life. Thank you.